how did the show at the Glenn Gould Studio, CBC, come about, and what was the experience like?
Okay. Well, so I mean, it was an honor. I mean, because the CBC, the Glenn Gould Theater, is a stage not many bands get to play at. When we started out 2 years ago, and we're not signed, we're nothing, on that level, but we got this opportunity to play a theater that some of our favorite bands have played. So it was a great crowd. The atmosphere there, made us feel real professional. So it felt really good.
Yeah,
that's excellent. No, that's great.
And we got it because Peter just sent out a bunch of emails, and it was literally just, he sent a mass email to everybody who he had contact, and one guy said, "We do have a show, would you like to be filled in?" And so we were like a last minute add-on, and they put us as the feature band, so
that's excellent.
That's intense.
You know what, man, it really, sometimes it's just knocking on doors, and you got to get, anybody that's successful has heard, no 1,000 times.
Oh yeah.
It's about persistence and timing too. I noticed in the video that because it is a seated venue, obviously you'll have people standing, but did you feel that it was like kind of a throwback to old videos that you may have seen of bands playing in the 50s and 60s where everybody's sitting, and yet these guys are rocking out on stage, and then you see, everybody's just sitting, they're clapping their hands, they're getting into it, but it's just kind of unusual and very almost, I don't know if the word is uncomfortable, or it's just a really unusual atmosphere. You wouldn't see that too much these days.
Exactly.
How do you feel about that?
That's how I kind of thought about it in my head, because when I found out it was a seated venue, I was like, how are we going to do this? And then, I was like, well, you know what, that's how they did it back in the day. 1964 Ed Sullivan Show with the Beatles, everybody there was seated.
Absolutely.
Right? But the Beatles were
seated.
There you go. The Beatles were playing it, and that's how the Stones performed in the 60s and the 50s, and on all that. So
for sure.
So we've got to make it work.
That's cool. For you, Brad, you must have been like, whatever, man, I'm sitting down all the time. Doesn't matter to me, I don't care. I got my energy.
But the good thing was that even people that were sitting down, it was the exact same reaction. They were kind of clapping their hands. So we had people actually get up and dance.
That's awesome.
At the show.
Yeah, I noticed there were some people dancing in front. And
yeah, the CBC actually put a spotlight on the people dancing, so there was our show, and then they had their little show on the end.
So what's the relation or connection of the EP title? It's Botany Hill, I believe.
Yeah.
What's the connection between you guys and Running Violet? What's the background story behind it?
So Botany Hill, the EP name, is actually the street that I live on, but it's also the street that we recorded it at, because it's a basement studio that's actually right across the street from me. Our good friend Jesse Robinson did the engineering for it, and we did it in his basement. So we thought,
I noticed that on your video. Yeah, you were
with
doing it
with both the recording place and me being there. So I thought, and it was a pretty cool name too. If you
didn't
really know the associations.
I'm pretty sure while we were recording, we were actually thinking, like, what could we name our album? And we passed by the street sign, and one of us said, Botany Hill. We're like, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Great.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Sometimes inspiration just hits it like that, and if it's the right time and the right place, obviously it was. So, nice cover, by the way. Who designed that?
We actually, Alessandra, a singer, actually knows someone in Waterloo. Her name's Emily Rose, who is an artist, and we just went to looking for a few people, saying, we're trying to do some artwork, and she kind of took our gramophone idea, which is our basic logo, and made this whole kind of symmetrical outlay to it. It was like, oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was very blotter spot psychology
we really,
type.
really liked it, so I think we might be going back to her for the next one.
How many shows have you played since you've broken into Toronto, whether it's in the city or outside the city? How many do you figure you've done? Or are you keeping count? Because a lot of bands don't.
No, we don't keep
We've only played in the city yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Early December, we're leaving actually to play our first show outside the city. We're playing in Montreal.
Okay.
But,
oh, that's great. You could give me a little background on why you're going to Montreal specifically.
All right.
If you don't mind.
Okay, so there was a Battle of the Bands, basically, right, that took place early this year.
Okay.
And it was a pretty big kind of competition that they host. And it's basically all the Toronto's bands, they kind of go through the first rounds, they, kill each other. And then, the top five in that,
it really wasn't.
They move on, and they go. So we played there, we played at the Mod Club. That was the show that we played. It was the Mod Club. We played
It's an excellent venue.
Exactly. And then, so we got fifth there. Right, so we moved on to the next round, which was at the Opera House.
Okay, another nice venue, too.
Yeah,
poor lighting, but nice venue.
So The prize for that was you get to go to Montreal to get an industry showcase, basically.
Okay.
You get that, and on top of that, you get 36 hours in a studio in Montreal with producer Glenn Robinson, who's worked with AC/DC, Keith Richards, Ringo Starr, all these people.
Megadeth.
Okay.
Yeah, Megadeth.
Nice.
Right?
Or Dave Mustaine.
Oh yeah.
They pop in every once in a while. You
So-
guys are doing good.
Yeah. So we won that.
Oh,
so we
great.
first place. We won.
Congratulations.
That,
That's a
thank
big
you.
thing, especially in Toronto. There's a lot of competing bands, right?
Exactly.
That's
so
awesome.
we're heading out to the Le National Theatre
Okay.
there to play there because of that.
Right on.
I think the high point of the place we're recording at is Steven Seagal has recorded in there.
Oh, great.
So
Yeah,
that's what got me excited.
You'll see him on the walls with his arm crossed, and he's got like a gun pointing at you like this with one eye.
Douche.
Yeah. He's got his ponytail hung over his shoulder, like I'm ready to go, ready to fight. What type of achievements have you reached so far in terms of recognition, acknowledgement, maybe competitions won, or compensation of any sort where you're winning money and things like that? Obviously, that was a big win.
Yeah.
Do you have anything similar like happening for you guys in terms of? I mean, you don't want to kind of say, everybody's got to get all these accolades, but it helps when you're a band that gets recognition. Do you guys feel like maybe, obviously with things like this going on, you're getting reviews and people are checking out your album, do you find that the response has been really good so far?
From the people who listen to it, I think the response has been really great. I think one of my favorite achievements was the fact that on our first show, we played the Elmo Combo.
Okay.
And it was the first show ever. We had never performed together live.
No.
And
that's a big venue to play for your
yeah,
first
it
show.
is.
yeah, and then we won, out of that show, we won 8 hours of free recording because we sold the most tickets. And also, we got moved to the finals. So, like, right away as we started, we got already a piece of, hey, we like you guys.
That's great. That's a good way, man. You're right off the gate and you're running, man.
Yeah,
So.
it gives a good feeling to start everything off.
Oh, it's excellent. What are the main goals that you guys set for the band? Kind of go over a few of the long-term ones and then the short-term ones.
Okay.
Let's start off with short-term goals. Like, what is your immediate next 6 months looking like? What do you guys want to do going forward so far?
Well, we're going to Montreal. Part of it is doing the 3-song EP that we're doing with Glenn Robinson. That's probably our big thing right now, because we don't really. I mean, the EP that we did recently is it's basement kind of demo kind of thing. It's not really something you could give to a big record company person. That's what we really want to set out to do. Really make something professional.
Okay.
We have a lot of contacts. We have DJs at the Edge that we know very closely. My cousin, who is one of Canada's top indie publicists. I even know the drummer for the indie band Said the Whale very, very well. So we have a lot of people we can give the EP to and a lot of places we can go with it. But yeah, over the next 6 months, we're looking to get that EP and give it to people. In terms of long-term, I don't really think we have many long-term goals. We really just started this band in terms of liking music and playing together.
Okay.
And we kind of have all the same, we like writing songs, we like playing live, so...
Do you guys kind of see yourself going on tour eventually?
Well, we would love to.
We would love to. I think kind of us, one of our, what I would guess our long-term goal is, we want to see just how far we can get with this.
Yeah. No,
Like,
for sure.
Just, I think we kind of came in with the idea nothing really serious.
Yeah.
And then we actually, we started having a lot, we knew we were going to have a lot of fun, but we started having a lot of fun playing all these shows, and more people have been listening to us. We're like, okay, well, let's see where we can reach.
No, for sure. And then once you have that success, then it
Yeah.
gives you initiative.
So
gives you a reason to go out on the road.
yeah.
right?
So personally, I would love to go tour independently or with a band. I think what would be great would be if we can go on tour with a band like the Arkells.
Okay.
Because they they kind of go down our alleyway,
Yeah,
happy
absolutely.
music that people can listen to. So they're one of those bands that I think if we can tour with them, that'd be.
That's kind of
So
who you
I'd be
would,
so happy.
you would be
If we
like.
toured
That's
the Arkells, I could die happy.
that's your band, right?
Quit
Like
the band. We're done. We're good.
that's cool. No, that's what you got to put on your bucket list. Okay, so let's focus on some of the writing stuff. Now, are you guys constantly in the writing process, right at this point, or are you focusing on the material on hand for the time being? Are you just kind of rehearsing the same material, or are you kind of throwing one song in here, or one song a week, or whatever, or are you going, okay, we've got our EP out now, let's not worry about the material that we've written, let's focus on writing 12 new songs and make that the future goal for our next project?
See, the thing is, right now we're at a position where we have about 7, 8 songs.
9.
So 9.
Nice.
Nice.
Right. So I mean, so we're working towards an album or having a handful of 10, 11 songs. So I mean, we're always writing. You know, if there's an idea that comes in, we're always going to try and be, all right, let's try to work this out. Maybe this is the hit single that's going to get us out there. We don't know.
For sure.
If we stop writing, we don't have that one song that's going to get us out there.
Yep.
I mean, there's no point. So I mean, we're always in the writing process to maybe get gold. Hit that gold mine. And,
no, you're right, man. It's a formula, really.
Exactly. So I mean, it'll just start with me, noodling around on a guitar riff or something. I'll bring it to the band, and then we'll collectively put things into it and build a song out of it.
I think mostly what it is Peter writes the main sound that we have. So Brad and I will I wrote most of one song music wise.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's because of where we come from musically, what we do may sound completely off from what our sound is.
Right.
So we every now and then we get an idea that we're gonna throw in there, and we're gonna be like, oh hey, what if we do this?
Because it just that piece fits.
Yeah. Like if I started coming in here and played some kind of Billy Talent style riff, it's no.
Absolutely. No, you want to compromise to a vision, right?
But at the same time, we'll respect each other's ideas. So he came in with that song, right? And to me, it didn't sound like a Running Violet song, throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I took what he had, right, and just adjusted it a bit, put in, the old formula, and came out with a brand new kick-ass song.
No, it's excellent. That way you're still getting contribution, and it's just putting a new apropach on it.
Yeah, and
that's great.
If something's missing and it's we need something, exactly. The other one will be like, well, how about we do instead of doing.
It's kind of like producing before we're recording, kind of just finding out what works in a song.
This guy does this amazingly with the drum section. I mean, this is one of our songs down. I came in with the idea, I came in with the basic structure, and then he just threw in a jazz kind of section in there with jazz and swing drums. And I was like, I would have never been able to think of that on my own.
When will we be hearing your next live gig? I'm presuming that's your Montreal show, or do you have something
December
else?
December the 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's coming up. And then as far as the new projects, so you're going to be doing this recording for the time that you've won through this process. And then you said you won that 8 hours as well initially from the Elma combo. Did you already do recordings with that?
Yeah, we recorded our first 2 singles, I'm All Writing Down There.
That was there, okay.
And that was how we launched the band. We said, okay, this is what we have now. Now let's work.
So that was your foundation right there. Okay, and have you guys ever done any collaborations with other bands at all, or do you guys kind of would you say you have other bands to team up with when you go playing shows? These guys we really like their style and we try to do a lot of shows with them, or have you thought about recording with other people, bringing them in, and even musician wise, have you thought about adding horns? Collaborations are a big thing in music, and do you guys have you done it, or do you have any intentions of doing that in the future?
Alice really wants us to put a saxophone, or was it a trumpet?
No, a saxophone or a trumpet.
He really wants a saxophone.
Which would be great.
How do you guys feel about it? You guys do feel comfortable?
We would love to expand, look at Sheepdogs. I mean, they started out as kind of a basic 4-piece and then added organs and horn sections, which is great. It's a new kind of dynamic and area for bands to explore. So
absolutely,
in the future, if we have time to do that, then that would be something we would definitely be interested in doing.
That's
in terms of bands that we play with, Tea and Coffee is one that we really like. They're an indie band.
Yeah,
we actually met them at the Opera House show. I can't remember. I think you guys were not there for that time. You guys were taking a break or something, and I just stayed inside, and this one band started playing.
Yeah,
and I thought, these guys sound really, they're tight, they look like they're having fun, and so I emailed them that night, listen guys, I just heard you play.
That's how he types to me.
Nice.
Absolutely. I heard you play.
Awesome. It's like playing the bongo.
I'm always thinking music.
Hey man, that's awesome.
And so then I said, please, let's play a show together, and then the next show we played, they opened for us, so it was great.
That's good, man. That's putting that vibe out is good.
And I think in music, there's a lot of, respect for everybody. Everybody knows we're in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
So when we played the Opera House, that was a battle of the band. So it's last man standing.
Yeah.
One of my strings broke.
Oh man.
And I did not have a replacement bass. And another guy from another band just came up, brought his bass on stage, and he said, "Here you go, man."
That's amazing. Because that's probably other than cracking a cymbal, that's probably one of the rarest things you'll ever see is breaking
done it freaking twice.
I did twice in a row.
Twice.
Shows.
Now I come to shows with like 3 basses.
Good idea. You guys recorded in a garage. Sorry, was that your house?
It was his
at,
shed.
it's actually it's a shed. My dad's actual work shed that he does all of his work, like what do you call it? Woodwork? I guess.
Wood
It's
shop.
not. It's not a very small. It's kind of. I guess you could say it's the size of this room almost.
I'd say about half.
And
Nice.
okay, 3/4. Let's agree to disagree. And I keep my drum kit, my guitars, my bass in there. So we just came over one day, actually a few times, and we would have these 2 mics, and we would record one of the bass and then one of the whole rest of the kit.
Overhead.
Yeah, and then we would just kind of record on his laptop, and although they weren't the greatest quality, I felt that those were the best recordings we've done so far, because there's so much energy you can feel in those.
It's live, man.
to-
Off the floor.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And in the recordings we did in the actual studio, that it was very just like, okay, certain amount of time, let's bang it all out. That's
Yeah.
it. Record everything separately, and then we didn't even have a big of a say in the like mastering and mixing of it.
that
So it
costs
just
money.
got back to us, and it was
Yeah.
just like, okay.
Yeah, and I think that the thing that we had with those old recordings is it was so. Excuse me, I'm not saying that for you, but they were pretty crappy. So you have, instead of having each instrument just, perfectly singled out for what it is, they all really blended in together.
Yeah. And that's, the mix and the master. I
And
mean,
so-
you could take any, tape, and if you have the right guy mastering it, he can make it sound like gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great, but it costs money. Like, not a
So
little
much.
bit of money, like
Yeah.
tens of thousands
Yeah.
of dollars. And so I understand, but at the same time, how did you feel about the energy of the song? Like, these guys are saying that it had a lot of energy. You were saying that as well?
I love the energy of those recordings.
Yeah.
Those are I still have them on my iPod because
I
to
have
this
them on
day,
my iPod.
to this
I
day,
don't.
I
Nice.
still love the like.
I'm Alright.
to it.
I'm Alright is the best we've ever done that song. I think that's the best recording we've ever done, period.
Yeah.
I
So
think.
eventually we're going to hear, like, live from Ben's garage, or Brad's garage, I'm sorry. I meant to say
That's
Brad.
okay.
So we're going to hear live from Brad's garage, the original recordings
Yeah.
of Running Violets. That would be a cool bootleg, man. I would definitely buy it. I would have to buy it from some street vendor, though, because I'm sure it
Oh
would
yeah,
be,
absolutely.
it'd be so obscure.
We'll hook up a homeless man.
Yeah,
Can
man.
we get back
exactly.
onto Earth, please?
Sell it to him for
Come
$1, you
on.
can sell it for 10. I'll get
Yeah.
10. That'll work.
Well, but it has to be like once one of us, like dies in a tragic accident
Okay,
Yeah.
can
or
we
commit suicide.
Oh, yeah, and then
Commit
that's
suicide.
like-
then we can release
we
it.
got the lost tapes.
The lost-
How do you guys feel about, for your next project, are you going to do another EP, or is it straight onto the LP? You're going to do like a full, the
Yeah.
next one you do, it's not going to be this material that you just did, or maybe it will be, plus an additional 10 songs.
That's most likely
Yeah.
what it is going to be. I mean, the whole one song thing, it seems like a good theory, but at the same time it's like, all right, people have heard this song, they've heard this song, they've heard this song, so why am I going out to buy this CD now? I've heard all this stuff.
Right.
Right? It's like Aerosmith is coming out with a new album and they're posting out every week like their song.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like,
No, for
okay,
sure.
well I've heard all of them now. It's like big deal.
Yep.
That's
Oh.
it. Instead of, when you get the band back in the day, the full album, you're so happy to hear this music for the first time.
Yep.
You put it on and you just listen, you're like, "Oh my god, next song. Oh my god." There's not that surprise element anymore.
You're right. You're right.
And I think there's like it's okay, to kind of tease the people before. So if you release maybe 2 songs off the album,
That makes sense, but that's like a
Yeah.
single, right? That's
Yeah,
like a
so
radio
let's say-
station playing a single.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, I'm going to use Billy Talent. They're my favorite
No.
band. So it's my
You know what? I'll
it's
tell you a
my
story about
go-to
them after.
example. And they released 2 songs before the album came out, but with months in separation.
Mhm.
And then so that gave me got me excited for the new album. But once it was out, it was like yes.
Yep. No, man. Hey, it's a teaser, right? You
Yeah.
want to have
Yeah.
that.
And I think with the EP, we were trying to, we wanted to get something out quick.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to pack 12 songs that are just the most mediocre thing we can write. We
Gotta
wanted
get
to
the good
just
stuff out.
release 5 songs that we really liked, that we wrote,
Absolutely.
and that we worked on.
Yeah.
So.
Hence another reason why maybe that other one didn't make it, right? Run Away With Me. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. I want you to tell your audience something cool, something funny, and something unusual.
I think for me, or I think coolest thing that's ever happened at our shows is just we'll be playing. I'll look into the audience, and there'll be people singing along.
That's
we
a
have
good
the
feeling.
best fans ever.
Right on.
You're what?
Yeah.
They keep coming back. They keep singing. They keep yelling.
Yeah.
They keep
Loyal
dancing.
fans, man.
Love
That's
it.
what you need. That's what you
It's
want.
dancing, it's screaming, it's singing the lyrics, demanding encores. That's what I find the coolest.
That is damn cool, boys. Or
Something
a band
funny.
situation.
Oh, that's. every single practice ever. It's pretty funny.
We haven't. This is the first full band practice we've had since like
July.
January.
Whoa.
He's still not here though. He's still not here.
He's missing in the wings somewhere. He's on his way. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's in Toronto. He's in traffic. He's in a cab.
Right on.
So
Are you guys like
he'll be
pranksters
here.
at all, or do you pull pranks?
We get mooned by our singer.
Okay.
Just pulls his pants out and just like, oh hey, look guys.
And you guys are on the side, so it's not so bad, but he gets the worst view of it all.
Well, you actually.
Well, no, because he turns to
He
us.
turns
he
to
does?
us.
Oh, he
the
makes
dry
points.
hump, and then all of
man.
it.
Because
He pulls
Just
that at the
just
back
in
for you.
practice, not at shows.
Not at shows.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You know what? You might have a new fan base if you did it at shows. Sorry, man.
Or we just
Oh,
lose
dear.
half of ours.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
but another thing that's kind of funny is our band is the reverse of any other band. Every other band, the drummer is the crazy one.
That's true,
The
actually.
guitarist and the bassist are the lazy ones who just stand in the back, and the singer
is the controlling one.
Yeah. So you guys have a different dynamic.
Yeah.
Totally.
Brad is one of the most straight edge people I've ever met in my
Yeah,
life.
Right on, man. Right on.
I'm the controlling one.
Yeah,
He is the controlling
He is
I'm
one.
the bossy
controlling one.
controlling one.
Nice.
and I go crazy on stage just
Yeah,
because.
You're the
I
animal
like
of the
He's
band.
the animal. He is.
I am the
Right
animal.
on.
Look at the beard.
You need the beard.
And,
Oh, man.
and Alice is he's the cool guy
Who
there
shows up? He
having-
just shows up
Yeah.
for shows.
Hey, man.
having fun.
He just gets up there and starts dancing. And
What
he's
songs
good
we
to go,
playing?
man.
What songs are we
Okay,
playing? Oh,
let's
okay.
go, come
Let's
on.
show up an hour before the show and be like,
Oh,
all right,
I
what are we
haven't,
playing?
I haven't
I wanna
sang
drink,
that song
let's
in a
hurry.
while.
Yeah.
I forgot the lyrics.
Nice. So tell me about, what sets you guys apart from other bands? I mean, that's a very, I don't know, it's a very general question. It's a question that a lot of people, they can either answer it or it makes it very difficult for them. And most bands will say, I don't know that we're so different, or they'll say, we're completely different from everybody. How do you guys feel about that? What sets you apart from other bands?
A lot of bands, if you take for a lot of our showcases that we've done, for example, you see a lot of variety. You have 5 people, 3 guitarists, or maybe you'll have, I've seen a band like 2 bass players before.
Well, that's wicked.
And,
I'd
but
love
we're
to see
just
that.
kind of that basic kind of band, 1 guitar, 1 bass, 1 singer, 1 drummer. That's it, kind of easy for the mixer as well.
Yeah.
And but it's just we kind of try to find that simple side of music that kind of goes back to that 60s, but try to make it our own. And it's a lot of bands are bringing the old to the new approach.
Absolutely.
Sheepdogs being a good example, but
Yeah.
that's what we really like to do because that's the music we like to write, and
Nice.
that's just what comes out of.
I mean,
what
It's
we
raw
put
and bare
together.
bones, right? It's
Yeah.
about the foundation, like you said.
I mean, I've always looked at our band from a kind of business and marketing kind of perspective, and been okay. There's all these bands out there, and the truth is, a lot of them sound the same.
Yep.
That's the thing, and then those bands don't make it a year in. They make their CD, they release it. You know what? They've got a music video on Much Music, but after a couple of years, they're gone, and nobody remembers them.
That's
You
right.
know, but you look back at the bands in the '60s, you're like, oh my God, I've never heard this. This is something new, and those bands stuck around. So I mean, us, it's kind of the guitars are always kind of like in terms of riffs and writing, it's always old school. It's always '60s. It's always that kind of vibe. But then we've got this guy and this guy on drums that kind of like drive the song in a new kind of way. I mean, this guy on the drums is a machine.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well, I'm okay.
He's a tank.
Modest over
Right?
there in the corner.
The whole band is honestly way too humble to really compare ourselves to anybody else.
Yeah.
I think we're just so happy to be playing music
That's
and
good.
that we can go places.
Yeah.
So
The
we're
future's
just like we're just so happy about it that we don't really want to compare ourselves to anybody. We don't want to make enemies.
No,
And
that's
people
cool,
are
man.
telling us that we're unique. Like we did the CBC, and then people that haven't heard us there before were there, and then back afterwards out in the lobby, everybody was like, "Hey, who is that band? They were so unique. Where can we get their CD?"
Absolutely.
And it's just like, yeah.
A little
do have a
girl,
unique sound for sure.
came up to me and asked me for our CD, and I said, "Well, we don't have any now, but here, if you go here, you can actually get it for half the price."
Oh, nice.
And she was all happy, and I gave her a hug, and apparently from the people beside, they said the little girl's eyes just lit up.
Nice.
So
You're
did someone-
a rock star, man.
Well, so someone
Kids
to
love
tell you
rock
that,
stars.
you're like, really?
Oh man,
Gosh, guys.
you guys are humble. You guys are modest.
Or when we were in the hallway and someone asked us, who are you guys? And we said, we're Running Violet. Oh, you're the feature band. No, we're just another band. That's all we are.
You know what, man? I think you guys are cool. I think you do sound different. You have a unique sound. It's really raw, and you do have a very catchy kind of guitar riff bass. The drums have a lot to do with that, and then you guys are the driving force. Everybody's a driving force. You get a very excitable singer. You guys are very lively on stage. You don't just sit there and, you know, that's key too. You got to be.
We always sweat. We come out so sweaty every single show.
Right on, man. No, you
if we don't, we did something wrong.
If you don't make it on the stage, then there's something wrong. You
Yeah.
gotta be everything you got on the stage. All of your energy. You should be dying when you get off the stage. That's how much you should be moving around.
I need to sound like Batman when I get off the stage.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not happy.
Yeah, you just gotta be totally warm, man. You gotta be.
Let's do it again.